All right, guys, that's it for my reactions to Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and my review of the film right now. It's not going to be like a full in-depth breakdown or anything like that, just my general thoughts and feelings on it. We can talk more in the live chat we'll be having on Saturday into specific questions, specific beats and stuff like that. But yeah, I loved this movie. I can't fathom how anybody made the decision to rewrite any of this. Like this balances so many tones in a very effective way. Like, I understand a lot of people were concerned about the tone of BVS, about how kind of dark and gloomy and everything it was, but this movie didn't have that feeling. And I don't know how the executives would have got that feeling from it as well. This movie has so much hope in it. And there's so much tension, there's so much character moments in this that were just completely butchered in the rewrites, in the reshoots, and that just got lost. Steppenwolf's entire performance is absent in the other film. His look also just does not compare to this one. This movie excels in every way that the previous one failed at. The way they come together, the way that Bruce seeks them all out, the way it really actually picks up from BVS and doesn't just discard things, because the previous one just had so many disjointed elements because it just wanted to do different stuff. All of the weird, janky things that Whedon kind of reshot and inserted into it, all gone, and the film is much better for it. And none of the comedy, none of the levity in this, which there is plenty of. This movie does have humor. It has heart. It has really great performances. I think the only one that kind of is still a little questionable is Ezra Miller's Barry Allen, because he still has some awkward lines and some weird kind of deliveries here and there. And he's really the only character that I have that issue with. And it's barely an issue because I still enjoy it. It's not the typical traditional Barry Allen. It's definitely something Ezra Miller's making his own, but in some ways it works and sometimes it doesn't. But at the end of the day, he has so much more to do in this movie. He's not just going in and pushing somebody and running away. He's not just there to get people out of a building. He's an active participant. He's an active combatant, and he has a key role to play in the story of this. And apparently there was a scene that was in the trailer that we saw where he's zipping around in the sky. You can't really tell what he's doing there, but we see that he's saving all those people that they rescued from Steppenwolf's in that facility that they were getting them out. Him and Cyborg are helping them escape. The whole Batman just saved one thing. Well, I do like that line. It just reduced the Flash to just like a rescue guy. He didn't really participate in any of the action, but they brought him into this. And that is tied into that when him and Cyborg are getting people out. That moment where he saves everybody, apparently the visual effects, everything to do with that scene was already shot, and they still felt the need, like the visual effects were completed on that, and they still felt the need to cut that whole thing. What the fuck? Why? They made the Flash just nothing in the other one, man. Like, why? He actually is such a pivotal role in this, and so much, and I know we've heard this all along, but it doesn't really ring as true until you see it for yourself, just how they did Ray Fisher and his Cyborg dirty, man, in the theatrical cut. He's the heart and soul of this film, and you've heard everybody say that this whole journey, this whole time along, that he is what connects everything. He's got a full beginning and end story arc in this movie, and it's all gone, and his performance is just reshot and ruined in the other one. And he's just got so much weight and nuance in his performance, the relationship with him and his father in this, and him coming to terms with who and what he is, his place in the world. All that is lost, but not here. Zack Snyder, while I admit, back in the day, like back in the BVS era when I was just young and just very like, I was like, this isn't the version of these characters I like. This is grim and dark and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if Zack's got this, like, Jesus Christ. But coming into this, Zack understands these characters. I don't know. I know there's just a lot of studio meddling all along the way, and this is Zack's unfiltered vision. And now, even just seeing it with the previous 3 films, it just all lines up. And he has a path, he had a trajectory, and just myself included, the executives at Warner Brothers and a lot of the general audiences just didn't see that back then. It just makes me feel even worse for this whole situation. And I hope that we echo our cry for more through supporting this. If you asked for this movie, if you supported this movie, if you called attention to get this movie released and made, I swear to God, you better have an HBO Max account, or you better have at least bought this on VOD. You better buy the Blu-ray when it comes out. We need to show Warner Brothers our attention to this, our want for this, our need for this, and our support for this to move it forward. And if it's loud enough, I want to see JL2, man. I want to see where this was going to go. I want to see Zack's vision seen through. And I don't think anything that happens in this movie, aside from some bits with Aquaman, necessarily undo anything that's come afterward. So it's not, they could keep this canon based on the way this movie ends and it not affect really anything. And they could even just kind of tweak some things to make Aquaman, the standalone Aquaman movie, work on its own. Everything else would be fine. Nothing else has called attention to this in a way that this movie can't be canon. So yeah, everything that's in this movie is fantastic. Jared Leto's performance in this, I still think it's better than the version we got. I still think there's some weird choices in there, especially his kind of southern drawl he goes into every now and then is just a little weird. But I really like the back and forth that he has with Batman, because we never got to see that before, and they have a good dialogue with each other, and I quite enjoyed it. Again, man, I really know there's a lot of setup for this, and they've said this is a cul-de-sac. If they believe that, I don't know what they're thinking up there in Warner Brothers, man, because there's a great direction to go with this that does not interrupt anything. And the one we got was reworked. The original Deathstroke scene that we got in this, that was going to set up Ben Affleck's Batman, goddamn, that scene was so good. I want that movie, and that, I don't know if we'll ever get that Batman movie, but we need that Batman movie. We need to see Batman facing off against Deathstroke, man. Bruce Wayne versus Slade Wilson. I want that movie. I don't know what to really talk about. This movie didn't feel 4 hours long. I actually sat through the entire thing, which is unusual for me, to sit in one place for 4 hours and not have to get up and go piss. I was sucked into this thing. I had 2 hours of sleep, and I made it through this entire film because I was just into it. And I know there's, like, in my reaction, there's going to be some bits where I'm just like, I'm in it, man. I'm sucked into it. Every shot in this movie is gorgeous, beautiful. Everybody's got motivation. Everybody's got, a weight to their character, their storylines, their involvement. Everybody has a role to play. Nobody feels shoehorned in. Batman does things in this movie, unlike the theatrical cut where they just didn't know what to do with him. Batman participates in this one, man. He is the team captain. He gets his hands dirty. And it's so rewarding, man. Everything in this is so rewarding. The fight with Superman, the resurrection of Superman, Superman's involvement at the end. Like, take out, like, I like Justice, which, while I liked because it calls into traditional Superman, lacking that stuff, he still is a fantastic element in this, and he feels like Superman, his embodiment, his return, his resurrection. He's born again, man. The Martian Manhunter, some great scenes in there, while we not sprinkled in as much. Darkseid, his involvement, every scene he's in is impressive. Now, the only kind of nitpick I have is the whole, like, anti-life thing being found on Earth, because Steppenwolf finds it later, but yet, when he finds it, it's just the symbol that Darkseid himself created back when he was there the first time. So would he not have known that it was on Earth? Because there's some dialogue with Darkseid that makes me think he doesn't remember what planet defeated him, which I feel like after such a humiliating defeat, he would remember where he was on that day. And when he dropped the hammer, he created that same symbol, and that's where Steppenwolf was all like, oh, anti-life is here. So, like, shouldn't Darkseid kind of already know that? Because that same symbol appeared when he did it when he first arrived, unless that was just symbolic through, like, Diana's retelling of that. Maybe that wasn't exactly what happened back then, and that's just kind of tied into the myth. I don't know. Little confused there. Desaad was in this movie a lot more than I thought, and he had some great little bits, great dialogue back and forth with Steppenwolf. You really feel Steppenwolf's history with Darkseid, his failure, his desire to make this work, to redeem himself in the eyes of Darkseid after his attempted betrayal on him, and while he's in his exile now. You feel his character motivation, and like he's so much more expressive, he's so much more compelling of a villain, while still not going into the layers that we see with a lot of other villains who've been coming out here recently or anything like that. But he's definitely not a two-dimensional villain. He definitely has hopes, wants, dreams, and you see it all in the performance, all in his eyes, all this stuff that's lost in the original version of this movie. The theatrical version of the movie. This is the original version of this movie. Don't get me wrong, guys. Jesus Christ. This movie just makes the other one look like a steaming pile of dog shit. But that's been my thoughts on this movie. That's been my rough thoughts on this movie. So we'll talk about, like I said, in the live stream Saturday in more detail. You guys can ask me questions and all that then, and we'll see where it goes from there. Remember, assuming these videos don't get claimed, all the revenue from these videos that these make, as well as the live stream super chats that'll come on Sunday or Saturday if you guys are there for that. All the proceeds around talking about this movie are going to go towards suicide prevention. And just like over the past couple of days, we've had some incidents in the country that are just horrific. So I'm going to be including direct links to support both suicide prevention as well as stopping hate down in the comments, down in the description of this video as well, so you can support it directly if you would like. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for sticking around through this. I still don't know how many parts this was actually going to turn out to be in the end, so I hope you stuck around through all of it. We'll see how it all turns out in the end, but full-ended reactions available over on Patreon. It's also going to be available here if you become a member on the channel itself. Big, huge shout out to Mandy Sherritt, who's a legend of the channel as we speak, and everybody else who's been supporting the channel by signing up to the Patreon, participating in the comments, liking the videos, subscribing, joining the Discord channel, and having conversations there. You guys have been pumping so much energy into me these last few months that it's just been so much fun. The channel's been growing. We've been popping off. We've been having a lot of success here, and you guys are the root of it. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. And we did it. We made it. We got the Snyder Cut. It has been released. Now, we're on to the next step, guys. Now we got to restore the Snyderverse. So let's get that hashtag out and get that hashtag roaring. Remember, at the end of the day, this was all for Autumn. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care, everybody.